Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the Raesr Tachyon Speed in multiplayer in Asphalt 9 at Golden Max in its multiplayer season. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure to check out my Furum Clips channel as well as the Purple Team Discord. The links to those will be in the description, and I hope you enjoy these races. One of the first things I noticed about this season is that it only had Scotland and very occasionally Auckland tracks in it. I got Scotland probably in 90% of the races I played, and Auckland in like the other 10%. So because of that, you will see mostly Scotland in this video. The other thing I noticed that is fairly obvious is that this car is not that great. Its top speed is only like that of a Lycan, its drifting is not very good at all, and its handling and nitro efficiency are rather mediocre, as is its armor apparently. Let me walk you through what happened just there. So a guy wrecked and went out of the track, then another guy knocked down another guy, then I wrecked, then the guy who knocked down the guy wrecked, then the guy who got knocked down left, and then the guy who wrecked at the beginning finally left, and we're left with me somehow after wrecking being left in first place. This race was so funny I had to put it at the very beginning of the video. Also, this was my first race of the season in Pro League, and this video kind of recounts some of the best races on my journey from Pro League to Elite League, which you will see whether or not I actually get to at the end of the video. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, is this car worth going for? Well, let me tell you a little bit about it. As I said previously, its speed is only like that of a Lycan approximately. Now the real kicker is that its acceleration at below 78 is the worst in all of Class S, beating the previous lowest, the Trion Nemesis, by over 2 full acceleration points. Its drifting is abysmal, its handling is not great at all, its nitro efficiency is nothing to write home about. There is just nothing that's really great about this car, like, at all. And here, I barely avoid getting knocked down because I hit Shockwave like a millisecond before the guy behind me hit me, going quite a bit faster than me. If I had hit Shockwave a second later, I would almost definitely have gotten knocked down. So since this car just isn't all that great, is it really worth going for? Well, it is in a Grand Prix, so theoretically you should be able to win it without spending many tokens, if any at all. So if you're able to do that, by all means go for it. I mean, there's no reason not to try to get a basically free car. But I would not recommend spending many tokens, if any, on this, unless you're either a car collector or a whale or both of those, just because it's not going to really have any utility at all that I can see, other than with the possible chance of being a required car for some special event later, but I honestly can't even really see that being much of the case. So we're coming up toward the end of this Auckland race, coming around this final turn, and you can see just how poor this car's drifting is. There were some times when I would try to make it around that turn in this car, like earlier in the season, and I would just hit the wall even though I was drifting as much as I could. And there we face Ricky Ticky again, the same guy who we faced in the previous race. And now we're back to Scotland. Even though this car isn't all that great, I did somewhat enjoy driving it in this season, especially because it almost looks like a Batmobile. Because most of the people left it in the regular black color that it comes with, it looks like just a bunch of Batmobiles just swarming over Scotland every single race I played. By the way, in case you didn't catch either my previous two videos, I got a new headset, the Corsair HS80, which is why my microphone probably sounds a little bit different. After my last video, I downloaded an equalizer APO to just kind of make my mic sound even better all across the board, and one really cool thing I was able to do with it is reduce the background noise. So now hopefully, like, I have an air conditioning unit in my apartment, and sometimes in the streams and stuff you might be able to hear it in the background, or maybe not in the streams, but I remember when I was doing ESL I always had to turn my air conditioner off during the stream so it got kind of hot, but there was nothing else I could do because it was loud. Now you cannot hear it anymore in the background. By the way, I was planning to stream this weekend to go along with my regular schedule, but I've come down with a bit of a sore throat, so I'm not entirely sure whether or not I'll be able to. I'll be sure to keep you guys posted as we get closer to that time. Now for another race in Auckland against a guy that I saw quite a few times when I was testing this car. He was a pretty good driver. I've had a few people ask me whether or not I'm going to be going for the Draco GTE. The answer to that is no. I do not have time to spend a bunch of time on a car hunt where it takes 55 blueprints just to unlock the car, and I unfortunately cannot go for the Toroidion as well because that car requires the Legend Pass. But one thing that I definitely am excited for is that Forza Horizon 5 will be coming out in a week now, which is kind of incredible. I will definitely be making a video about my first impressions about the game as soon as it comes out. Oh, and another game that I was planning to make like a first impressions kind of video of was Racing Master, because I was able to get it on my phone, the OnePlus 7 Pro finally. The problem was, My phone has been having some issues recently where in Asphalt 9 and in Racing Master, and I'm assuming in any racing game I'd play, like, the gyroscope seems to be off. Like, I'll be holding my phone straight, and the car constantly wants to edge over to the right. Not entirely sure why that's the case. Let me know if you have any suggestions about that. I downloaded an app that was supposed to help me fix that, but unfortunately it did not do anything, and so I'm left wondering, is that something that can be fixed with software, or is my gyroscope just kinda permanently messed up, which would kinda not be good. Now, this race here against Raesr Tachyon again is the closest race by a long shot that I had during this season. We were going back and forth throughout a lot of the race. He had gotten a bit ahead, but I wasn't too worried about it, and when I saw that he had gone over to the right instead of over to the left, which has generally been considered to be the better route, I knew that I had a pretty good chance. Then he drifted to get that nitro, and even though he hit me with the shockwave, I think I was going faster, so it didn't really do anything. He follows me up the hill, where thankfully I was able to get shockwave, otherwise I don't think I would have been able to maintain as good of speed. Then I round the final bend, and at this point I knew, as long as my car doesn't randomly fly out of bounds or wreck or something, I've probably got it in the bag, and I did. If you're watching this, GG, you made a somewhat boring season a little bit less boring with that kind of heart-pounding race right there. You may have noticed at the end that I got to a rating of 1493, or only 7 rating away from Elite League. And I knew that if I was able to get first place in this race right here, I would be able to get there, which was pretty much my goal for the season, and I was very close to top 50 as well at the time I recorded this, so I also wanted to see if I could hit 2 birds with 1 stone, and the race was quite close toward the beginning here. I didn't quite do everything well. Then our friend Bocce comes up alongside, and because I had 360 to get some more nitro before going into the ship, I accidentally knocked him down, which pretty much left me in the clear for the rest of the race, and thankfully I did not wreck at that part in the ship again. So I guess now it is time for my general review about this car. It is rather unremarkable. The acceleration is the lowest in the class, the top speed is only average for S-Class, the drifting radius is abysmal, and the handling and nitro are not great either. So overall, it is pretty much just a collector's item. However, I always enjoy these max free try seasons, so I did have some fun playing with it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content. We got to Elite League in that race with a rating of 1509, and we managed to crack the top 50 where I met my doppelganger, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!